We're going to start with the 391st candidates. Carmen, Brad, you guys decide who would like to come up first, or both of you come up, but we'll start with you.
Maddie, I'll be happy to go first.
Fabulous.
Okay,
And hopefully we'll have time for questions.
I thought, man, if I have to look at the back of the room for
I'll grab you by the neck.
that works. And I will set my own just so I also have it just to be on the safe side. Let me make sure I have, don't start me yet. I've got to make sure I've got my technology working. Good afternoon, I'm Carmen Dusek, and I'm running to be 391st District Judge. I'm from San Angelo, grew up here, graduated from Central High School, then attended Texas Tech for undergrad and law school. My family with me today are my parents, Clint and Mariana Sims, my father-in-law, Ron Dusek, my husband of 17 years, James, and our darling daughter, Sugar Stand Up, Annabeth. She's 11, and I'm going to try and get away from this mic so it's not quite so loud. We have 4 district courts in Tom Green County, and these courts are everything courts. None of our courts are specialties. They handle family law, felony criminal cases, civil lawsuits, and the 391st has been hearing the juvenile docket for several years. 2/3 of what our courts hear involve children and families. We have about 1,000 divorces filed a year. Then you have on top of that child custody modifications. You have crimes against children and families. You have our juvenile offenders. Those are youths aged 10 to 16 who commit crimes. And then you've got families and children sometimes involved in civil lawsuits. Now, many people may think that you must have been a prosecutor to do this job. And in fact, I'm a part-time assistant district attorney, and I applaud my opponent's service when he was a prosecutor in the 1990s. But the fact is that it's not required to be a prosecutor to be a district judge. In fact, John Best has recently shared some numbers with us last month that we have 5 capital murder cases pending in Tom Green County. Those 5 cases are being heard by Barbara Walther and Ben Woodward, neither of whom were ever prosecutors before becoming district judges. And I think we can all agree that they do an outstanding job for Tom Green County. What you need to be a good district judge is consistent, relevant courtroom experience. And in fact, I have never left, in my 20 years of practicing law, I have never left a trial and courtroom practice. I do trials, I do appellate work, and I do that across about 36 counties through West and Central Texas. My cases involve the types of cases that this court hears. But for the last 10 years, I have practiced additionally in a little more complex area, which is family law. It's a significant portion of our docket. There I've worked on child custody cases, divorces, happy family law, such as adoptions. But I also have a tremendous amount of experience protecting children and families from violence and sexual assault. And it's through that work that I'm very proud of some key endorsements that I have from people such as Tanya Spaeth-Allschweed, current 452nd District Attorney. She also happens to be my part-time boss down there working her felony drug docket. Angela Goodwin, the former chief of Greg Abbott's Crimes Against Children Prosecution Unit when he was Attorney General. And retired Texas Rangers Major Brooks Long, who was the commander of Company E for the Texas Rangers. Let me tell you, though, one key thing to look at, and that is candidates should be willing to tell you what they've done in the last 5 to 10 years in trial courts. I don't have time for that, but let me tell you about last year alone. Last year, I had 13 trials. Those cases involved felony drug prosecution, the sexual assault of a child, family law, such as I mentioned, adoptions, child custody, grandparent custody, and civil lawsuits where I defend businesses and individuals, such as Kathy Doty, who was sued for $5 million by a powerful plaintiff's personal injury law firm, and the accident the jury decided was not her fault. You need a candidate with this broad experience. I'm also the candidate who has voluntarily declined any contributions from attorneys who appear in our courts. Why does that matter? Because being a judge is the ultimate trust job. And everyone who walks into our courthouse deserves to know that there's no special interests involved, that justice is equal, justice is fair, and justice is unbiased. So if you're undecided when you go to the polls, I ask you to think about 3 things. Who do you trust to make the child custody decision? Who do you want to preside over a civil lawsuit if you're ever sued? And who do you trust to keep our children and families safe? I'm Carmen Dusek. I will bring the experience we need, the values we trust, and the integrity that we deserve to the 391st District Court. I would appreciate your votes.
Thank you, Carmen, that was great.